Greetings and welcome to my channel. This is Sorcerer Tal. You can also find me on Facebook in the Sorcerer's Guild. Today, on both the S1 Sigil and the Sorcery Self-Defense playlist, we will be discussing the concept of a dream staff, what a dream staff is, how to use one, and as well as how we can strengthen that idea, and by doing so, take one more step in closing the tear in the rift. If you're unfamiliar with that concept, I have discussed it in previous videos. I will leave a link to that here. And that is the first project that we started with this. This will be the second one. Now, I do have a script that I have written for this episode. I will try to put it in the description portion of the video. If it doesn't fit, I will leave a link to the Google Docs copy for those of you that would like to read along. Okay, so what is a dream staff? A dream staff is a physical tool that you take with you into the dream world. You literally are going to be going to sleep with this stick in your hands. The staff needs to be long enough that you can hold it across your body like so. I like to hold it about here with my arms crossed, with my hands on it and my ankles crossed. As you can see, my ankles being crossed, but that's how I like to lay on the bed. But I have found through experimentation that it's not really necessary to be laying in that position. You can be laying on your side, holding the staff anywhere, as long as you feel the staff, as long as you're holding it. Mine is 36 inches long. I like that length because it fits directly on my hip like a gentleman's walking stick, and that may come up in the Sorcery Self-Defense playlist when we continue on with this stick. But that again is just personal preference and also relates to what type of weapon you are used to using. Okay, so did I miss anything in this part? 36 inches long. Okay, for myself, this is something I started doing about the age of 10 because I was having a recurring dream where this thing was attacking me, and whenever I made weapons, it would change them into something else or make it so that they couldn't, like I would hit it with the sword that I made and it didn't cut. So I got desperate, I suppose, and I decided to actually take my stick that I'd been beating stuff up with in the yard. You know how kids like to beat stuff with sticks, and take it into my dream with me. And it worked. And in fact, it induced a much more positive or much more vivid lucid dream. Not only was it good for defeating my opponent, it also, like I said, it induced a much more powerful lucid dream. I have heard of other people using similar methods, but we will discuss my technique as it's the one that this project is calibrated for. So I came up with this idea on my own, but like I said, I do believe other people have come up with similar techniques. I can't think of anyone to cite off the top of my head, though. Okay, so as I said, to use a dream staff, I lay on my back with my arms across my chest, grasping the staff lengthwise with my ankles crossed. But it'll work any way that you need. Like I said, if you want to sleep on your side, whatever, as long as the staff is in your hands. Okay. How the staff works to induce a lucid dream is actually quite simple. On a psychological basis, what it is it's working as a trigger mechanism. Yeah, you're going to sleep with this item in your hands that you have verbally stated the intent that this item will induce a lucid dream. So then you go to sleep and your hands are consciously aware of what they are holding. So then when you reach the REM state, your mind is reminded that this staff will induce a lucid dream, and it brings up a lucid dream. This is a very powerful technique. Okay, so let's see. What else do I have on that before I get into about the powerfulness of the technique? Okay, so that's how it works on the psychological level. On the spellcraft level, you are using a tool which has been given a form and an intent in the staff and in its name, Dream Staff, which is then charged by sleep gnosis. In other words, it's charged by you holding it in your sleep, and then released when you entered into the dream by inducing a lucid state. Now, as I said a moment ago, this is a very effective method for lucid dreaming. If you've been having trouble getting a lucid dream, this technique is likely to be the one to kickstart you into a lucid dream, but it can become a bit addictive. I do not recommend using a dream staff every night because you don't get full rest. Yeah, it prolongs the REM state once you have entered into the lucid dream. I don't know if that's from the psychological trigger or the fact that the staff itself kind of acts as a bridge across the rift. But either way, it lengthens the dream period and you don't get quite as much sleep. So I don't recommend doing it more than 3-4 times a week, and or waking up in the middle of the night and putting the staff away. I do that quite a bit. I will go to bed at first, sleep with the staff, have that extremely powerful lucid dream, and then after it is coming to a close, intentionally wake myself up, put the staff away, and go back to sleep to get some more restful sleep. Now, it doesn't mean you can't have lucid dreams afterwards, but it's a bit more intense. Now, like I just said, once you have reached a lucid state, you will notice a few differences while using the staff. You will notice that your lucid dream is likely going to be much more vivid, and you yourself will likely feel more powerful than normal. The reason for this is because, as I said a moment ago, the staff... Okay. The staff, as do all things, possesses an energetic form with its material shape of the wooden staff. Oh, hold on, this isn't making sense. Hold on, let me get this straight. Okay. You may notice that the dreams achieved in this state are very vivid, and you yourself will likely feel a bit stronger than usual. This is because the staff itself, as do all things, possess an energetic form along with its material shape of the wooden staff. Have a natural tendency, and wooden staffs have a natural tendency to reach across the rift on their own. They form a bit of a bridge across that rift all on their own, simply by being what they are. Thereby giving extra power not only to the dream, but to the wielder of the staff itself. This is also part of the reason why using a dream staff is not as restful as regular sleep, as I have mentioned a couple times already. This staff itself has uses as well. One is that it has an innate form, so unlike weapons one might simply conceive in their mind, the dream staff cannot be damaged or altered by your opponent. As I said, that was the original reason that I used a dream staff, was to defend myself from an opponent in a dream early on in my childhood. One can also call upon the spirit of the wood in the staff to create wood, grow trees, branches, leaves. This can be extremely helpful in creating your dream platform. You can actually basically channel wood through the staff and create a strong wooden platform to place your platform on, even grow the planks for houses, to build a house, things of that nature. It's quite useful in that way. Okay, let's see, what have I missed? The dream staff can also be used to learn to fly. Yes, I shouldn't have needed to be reminded that. This is actually the second thing that wound up happening with the dream staff. This was how I learned to fly in my dreams. Now, I tried a few other methods. I tried kind of swinging my butt back and forth and throwing it into the air, and that kind of worked, or like doing a long jump. I even had this swing set I would dream about, and I would swing and swing and swing back and forth in the swing set and propel myself through the air to get myself to fly. But what worked in the end was this. Okay, I'm going to get down a little bit so you can see. But what I would do is hold it up over my head like this, and then lift myself up to the staff, and then hold it out in front of me and imagine it going forward. And for me, that was the technique that finally got me into being able to fly in my dreams. I don't have to use the staff to fly now. I can do it in any lucid dream, but that's a technique that finally got me over that hump. And in fact, once you get good at this technique, you can actually use the staff to teleport in dreams, which brings us to how this becomes an S1 project. Okay, now working with the Horde, I have gone to the roadhouse several times using this method so that they can now identify the energy signature of someone using a dream staff and use that to draw anyone using a dream staff to the roadhouse if they are focusing on the S1 sigil. So in order to use this, in order to be teleported to the S1 sigil, you want to hold the staff. Let me get down again, like up over your head. Don't have to hold it way up over your head, but hold the staff up and envision the S1 sigil, or simply speak out loud, "I wish to be brought to the S1 sigil." And that will give them the necessary permissions to draw you there. So you want to be holding the staff up, envision the S1 sigil, and if that is difficult for you, you can speak out loud that, let me make sure I have the exact words right. It's "take me to the S1 sigil." We want to make sure we say that right. So, let's hold the staff up over your head and say, "Take me to the S1 sigil." Normally wording wouldn't be that important. It probably is in this case. If you get it wrong, maybe just saying "take me to the S1", maybe saying "I want to go to the S1 sigil", it might work. Just saying S1 sigil might be enough for them to pick it up. But if you're able to remember in the dream, it's best to get the wording correct on that, just so that it'll be easier for them to pick you up. Once this happens, you should feel yourself being drawn to the roadhouse. Now, I've mentioned the roadhouse before, but it is essentially a large building like an inn. When you do this, you should find yourself being drawn to the inn, not through the door, but you will just find yourself there at the inn, and there will be 3 Horde members seated at a booth, which will appear right in front of you. You will want to go ahead and take a seat. They're friendly. They will know why you're there. They brought you there for this purpose. And what they will do is mark the S1 sigil somewhere on your staff. I had a spot specifically planned out for this beforehand. That they will mark an S1 sigil on your staff, and then if you want to, you can then go to your dream platform and mark your personal sigil at that time, or you can do that later, but you may want to mark your personal sigil on there as well. We'll get to that. Okay. Once you are there, you'll be brought into the roadhouse, which should resemble an inn. You'll be greeted by 3 Horde members seated at a booth. They will mark your staff with the S1 sigil, which anchors the staff's energetic form to the astral plane. Okay, that's why we're putting the sigil on here, is to anchor the staff's energetic form directly onto the astral plane. And when you awaken and return from this dream, you will then go and mark the staff in the same place, thereby anchoring its physical manifestation as a staff to the physical plane and pulling the tear in the rift just a bit more closed. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do mine on camera here. Okay. Now, like I said, I did have a special spot marked for this, but you don't need to have a special staff with a... Not focusing on that very well, is it? Anyways, you don't need to have a special staff made of oak, or in this case, this is actually, if you could believe, I found a piece this big, wild rosewood. You don't need it to be made out of a special material. In fact, you can make more than one of these staffs. You can do this repeatedly. You can go get a 36-inch dowel rod from Home Depot, put it in your arms, do the dream, mark it. I would suggest that you put some kind of clear coat or lacquer over the sigil once you have marked it, so that it doesn't get rubbed off easily. I won't be doing that yet because I am going to be doing a little more work with the staff, and I'm going to polyurethane the whole thing at some point. But for now, there's the mark. Now, as I said, you can also put your personal sigil on the staff somewhere, but I would suggest you need to be the one to do that. Yeah? You don't have the Horde members put your personal sigil on the staff. In fact, they will tell you no if you ask. What you will need to do is go to your platform, your dream platform, and mark your personal sigil on the staff there, and then come back and put it on your staff. I haven't actually done that yet, so I'm not going to do that today, but I'm going to put my personal sigil up here on the top. I'll probably be going there tonight, possibly. But I haven't done that step yet, so I can't draw the personal sigil. Okay. Already been over that. Okay, now because your theme staff is now solidly in both worlds, it can be used on the physical plane as well. Can be a very powerful tool in channeling from astral energy sources, especially from the sigil's location or your own dream platform. But really, this staff will now allow you to reach more easily across the rift. This will help you access the astral plane more efficiently because it is now solidly anchored in both realms. Okay, so let's see, have I missed anything? Okay, so thank you once again for joining us. I guess that's all there is for this episode. There will be more videos in the S1 series as new projects come up, and we will be discussing the Dream Staff in future episodes of the Sorcery Self-Defense series. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please take the opportunity to do so now. Until then, bright blessings and an interesting fate. This has been Sorcerer Tal.